All right, guys, we're here in Amsterdam. We've been here for 2 days now. We are at the Heineken Museum and Tour Experience. Now, the key word is experience because you get to experience the Heineken beer. Now, Aaron, is this actually where Heineken was made originally?
Yeah, I believe this is this was the main factory and where Heineken was invented. And as you know, because we tasted some Heineken before, and it's very important. I don't like Heineken in America. I'll be honest.
Why not?
It's too bitter. So the aftertaste hits you. It's like kind of like not. I guess some people like the bitter taste, and I think you do.
It's kind of watery here.
Right. So I like the watery. It's sweeter here. Even though there's more alcohol here, I believe there's more here than there. So
you could drink the stuff. Just I understand why people in Europe drink beer as
they drink it at
water.
breakfast. So people don't drink. You'll get a little instead of the big pint. They get the little cup and they drink that for breakfast.
Yeah. Everything's very small here.
Yeah. Well, you see, they give you this much water. May as well get that much beer, right?
That's
Same
right.
price.
So we're going to go through this tour, and I guess we're going to learn how Heineken is made, the history behind it, and we're going to get to sample some of the Heinekens that they make it. And do they have different brews, or is it all the same?
I think it's all the same. I'm not sure. I don't know. I really don't remember. I did this tour before. I do remember one thing about it. The reason why I wanted to bring you so much is you get unlimited Heineken. So
I was going to say, were you able to get a buzz on this tour?
I believe I got pretty drunk.
If he did, then that's a pretty exciting proposition.
So really the goal, for me anyway, you ever go maybe learn about Heineken and taste the difference. My goal is to get Dave drunk. So that's,
which is not very hard because I have no tolerance whatsoever. My goal is to see if you can get drunk. That would be a true test.
Let's see. We'll see if it's
of Heineken's potency.
It ended up costing about 20 euros each, so that's around $30. So it's going to need.
For you, that's cheap because that's like you need 40 drinks anyway.
I'm going to need to make it worthwhile. I think,
that's right.
So.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on.
So we have the 4 ingredients here.
Okay. Which is barley, hops, and yeast.
And water. Very important.
Always the most important ingredient. Yeah.
Water is actually 92% of the beer. So if your water is not clean, your beer is bad.
Right.
So what we do, we clean the water where the factories are located. So we do it ourselves to make sure the water is clean. So after that, we add the barley. This one up here. Do you want to do it? Do you want to be my helping lady?
I feel like
stretch it a little bit.
She's Julia Childs, and I'm like Johnny Carson or something like that.
So this is the barley.
Barley.
And this is actually the sweet part of the beer. It's pretty good, right?
Not bad.
It's a bit like breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
So what we do with this, we slightly soak it, and then we slightly roast it. And by roasting it, we get a darker beer. So the longer you roast it, the darker your beer gets. Okay?
Is it possible to not roast it at all and make beer?
I don't think it will be good.
No, won't be good.
You can do everything. Then we crush it into this, and this is actually what we used to do in the windmills. So we now just do it in the factory. It's way faster.
When you say you've worked in a windmill before? Oh, I'm just checking.
Us Dutch people.
Okay, gotcha.
So actually, some brewers still do it in the windmills because they think it's better for the taste.
Sounds more authentic.
Maybe. I don't know. We don't believe in it. So actually that's to get the starch out, the white part inside. And that's eventually the only part we use in the beer. So
how do you get the hulls out? How do you get the seed part out?
What we do, we break it up, and it really gets, I don't know how we say it in English, but it soaks up in the water, and then we get rid of the skins.
Oh, okay.
That's how we do it. So we mix those two together. We heat it up until 80 degrees.
80 degrees.
And then you get a liquid called wort. And we still brew the wort downstairs here, so you can still taste it. It's kind of a
What is it called?
Wort.
Warts, like warts that grow in your hands?
No, I don't know.
It must
W-O-R-T.
Oh, warts, not like walks. Warts.
Yeah, wort. And you can taste it downstairs. It's a sweet, grainy drink. It's kind of like cold tea, actually. We add the hops to that. And these hops contain lupulin, which is very important because the lupulin is actually what causes the beer to stay fresh. So this is a natural conservative. So this is the reason we don't need any additives or conservative.
What actually is hops? Does anyone know what hops? I have no idea what hops is.
Hops is a plant. You can see it up there. It looks like a wine plant, but it's way bigger. It can grow up to 8 meters high.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and it has these little flowers on it.
Right.
And these flowers are actually the hops itself.
And that's what preserves the beer.
That's what preserves the beer.
Okay.
It also adds the bitter taste. So for about 80 to 90% of the hops is in the foam head, and that's the reason why the foam head is very bitter.
This is because of the foam.
Yeah. So personally, I didn't like beer for about 5 years ago, but it was because I didn't drink beer the right way. When you drink beer, you have to make sure you only drink the golden part underneath. So you have to drink underneath the foam head because the foam head is actually just a protection layer.
Who would have known?
The ending. you have to have a little foam head left on the bottom of your glass, and then you have drank your beer the right way.
And you just scoop the foam out?
No, because the foam head is also preserving the beer when it's inside your glass.
Ooh.
It makes sure the bubbles don't go out and the oxygen doesn't go in.
There you go.
It actually has a function. Okay, and then we add the yeast. And the yeast is actually what we call, it's kind of like a Pac-Man. It's eating the sugars inside the barley, and it turns it into carbon dioxide and alcohol. So this process takes about 28 days, and all this mixing up takes just a few hours. So in about a month, you have a Heineken beer. It is different because of high quality products, but also because the yeast has a very distinctive taste. So actually every beer has its own kind of yeast, and Heineken adds a kind of a fruity taste to it. So you will also smell it when you smell the beer. That's actually it.
Who developed the strain of yeast that you guys use?
Dr. Elian.
He did. I was testing it. I saw it when we walked in. I wanted to make sure she knew what she was talking about.
Since 1886.
Wow. And with the accent she said it too. That's pretty cool. Well, thank you for enlightening us. And now we want to go taste it. So
Yeah.
To see if you're right.
Wait for a few.
Aaron, when we walked into the plant, I smelled horse. I have a very good sense of smell, and we found out why, because they have the Heineken Horses.
I thought it was the beer. I was like, some horse shit in the beer.
Yeah, well, the Heineken Horses are not Clydesdales. I thought they're Shire horses, like the Hobbits,
Is that what it is?
Right
from the Shire?
Yeah, from the Shire, yeah. And evidently they use these horses, I guess, in parades and festivals and stuff like that. They drag the cart with all the beer on it.
And each one of them is named after one of the founders or managers of the Heineken.
Look, there's Josiah Singerman over there.
That's Dr. Heineken himself.
Josiah Singerman you have there, and
this is a big guy.
Yeah, he's got very big feet.
He's got some big muscles, dude.
His feet are almost as big as that Robert Wadlow guy we saw in Sweden, the world's tallest man. They do look pretty nice, but we must move on because there's alcohol waiting for us.
Actual drinking time here.
All right, Darielle, we are here at the Heineken Experience. We have our beer in hand. My foam has been disintegrating, and as we learned, the foam layer is what protects the beer underneath from oxidation and from losing all the carbon dioxide bubbles. Have you enjoyed your Heineken beer? I noticed you kind of tapped off the whole thing already.
Yeah, I was being fed my beer while I held the baby.
Looks like Asher had too much.
Yeah, Asher had a little too much.
He gave him the first couple tastes and it knocked him out. So.
Now, what's interesting that she told us is that when you drink beer, the proper way to drink beer, first of all, I think cheers in Dutch is what? Broos?
I have no idea.
Broos. That's cheers.
What's cheers?
Broos, right? Broos. I remember.
But that sounds Italian.
I said broos.
No, it's like toast, but then with a P in front.
Yes.
So
Prost. The brost with a B. With a B. B as in boy.
No, P.
Oh, P. Oh, Prost. Okay. All right. I'm learning.
With the little
But the thing that I didn't know is that you're not supposed to take tiny sips of the beer because then you just wind up ingesting all the foam. You got to take big sips, she said. So.
Got to chug it.
Even as a woman, you're supposed to take very big sips.
Yeah.
Are you able to handle that?
I can handle it.
She obviously did because she finished her beer before I did. Aaron is excited to get downstairs and get the big mugs that they supposedly give us down there. And we'll find out what else we got in store here at the Heineken Experience. Prost. All right, Aaron, we just finished the Heineken Experience. And I got a little gift. I know you got one for your son.
I'm gonna say the bikers are riding by. They don't give a fuck here. They ride by.
Yeah, they'll run you right over. This is my customized Heineken bottle. It says brewed by Dave Palumbo. If our camera woman can catch that. It was probably the most elaborate tour I've ever been on of a beer factory. It might also be the only one I've ever been on. But
it's still pretty elaborate.
Did you learn anything here?
Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of a history lesson for people out there. Is that I was here about 10 years ago or so,
right?
And this was a much different place. I don't remember most of these scenes other than the very beginning with medals and stuff. I remember,
right?
But at the end, for people out there that have been to the Heineken tour before, know that you have unlimited beer.
Right.
And so I was a little disappointed, Dave. That's the part that disappoints me.
You had 4 or 5 beers anyway. I mean, that's not enough.
Well, I took all of the beers from you all.
Yeah.
Them, but no, it wasn't enough. But before it was like a scene of drunkenness at the end, and instead we had a conservative drunkenness. So
it was a fun drunkenness.
It was fun. It was still fun. The tour was interesting, and it's amazing how much you can learn about beer.
Yeah, not that it really goes anywhere, but it does prove one thing. If you're passionate about anything you do, you can make a hell of a lot of money because the Heineken family is very wealthy.
So that's a good point. The Heinekens are a lot like Dave Palumbo. the guy who started this whole thing off was a chemist by profession.
Right.
And he said, you know what? I don't like Dave said about being a doctor. He said, I don't care about being a doctor. That's not what I want to do. I want to be a beer maker. And he actually did that. Gave up being a chemist and used that chemistry like you did.
He was a very successful beer maker, evidently, because look what we got here. Anyway, there's a lot to do here in Amsterdam. We started off at the airport. We're shuffling around town. We went to the house of Anne Frank, which we weren't allowed to film at. I was very emotionally struck in there. It's very impactful, you know, when you go to a place of historical significance. I actually felt like the ghost of Anne Frank was in the house. And for those out there who don't know who Anne Frank is, she was the little girl who was hidden up in the attic with her family to avoid capture by the Nazis. Then she wrote her diary, which obviously became a famous book. And, you know, we got to see the house where they actually were hiding out. And it was pretty amazing to find out that this little tiny room, someone could actually live in there for 3 years.
3 years, and it said that they never moved the shades. Because obviously, like, if the Nazis are there and you move the shades a little bit to peek out, someone might see, and then there they are.
Well, evidently someone did sell them out eventually, and unfortunately she wound up being, I guess, was she killed in a concentration camp?
She was killed, yeah. The truth is, I need to go look it back up. I read the book a few times, many years ago.
She was killed in a concentration camp, but I don't think anyone knows the details exactly. But the father did live, and he found the diary, and that's when he's the one who published it. So that was pretty.
Family owned that house for many years. So
we did something fun here at Heineken. We did something historically significant and emotionally tugging at Anne Frank. And tonight we're going to go see prostitutes in the red light district, right?
And I think before we get to the prostitutes, to move in that direction, we'll see a toilet now. Dave was fascinated by this toilet. Lack of space in there. This is actually not that unusual for Europe because
I always show off toilets wherever I go.
And I've done it before too. So the toilets in Europe are different than toilets in America. Usually in America you have ample space. In Europe you have very limited space because there's not a lot of city area to. So let's take a look at a toilet.
Hold on, there goes Steve Bleckman on a bicycle. All right, Aaron. You know, Amsterdam is gone. We've finished our tour of the city.
Yep.
We finished up actually with a tour of the red light district, which I really didn't have a full grasp of what was going on there. But there are literally red lights in the window with women almost with no clothes on.
Bra and underwear.
Who are basically prostitutes who are trying to attract you to, I guess, hire their services. Now, luckily...
Not basically, that's exactly what they were.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing that amazed me was that the women were actually attractive women. They were not like street sleazy women.
You actually seemed a little disturbed that they were so attractive. You were like, whoa.
Well, I felt like it was kind of like they were... I guess no one's really victimizing them and they want to work there, but it's kind of depressing that, you know, you would have all these good-looking women just, you know, selling themselves to this guys walking down the street. But it's eerie if you've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's definitely like a shell shock when you go through the streets and you see the women, and usually like I guess we were there on an off day. We were there on Monday.
Sure.
But they were still kind of tapping on the glass and trying to get you over. And some of the girls were coming out.
All the fat ones were winking at me, I noticed.
He had most of them were fat. You had a lot of black fat women, especially.
They were seem to like me.
Come over.
Either that or they have to work harder because the hot blonde women, maybe you have.
Those are the ones that are texting on their phone, like talking to people.
Because they know they're going to get it no matter what. Now, the interesting thing also was that, you know, walking down the street, you smell marijuana just wafting out of these, I guess, coffee shops where you can just go in there and light up, and you can buy magic mushrooms and pretty much anything you want in there.
Well, we got approached a lot by people that would come up, and you noticed that we really didn't talk to them. It was kind of like on Bourbon Street, you'll have people that'll come up and kind of beg for money, and from New Orleans, beg for money, or go like, they'll walk behind you, cocaine. Right. That's on Bourbon Street. Well, they'll be like, hey, you need MDMA, you know, you get kind of the same thing, and you just walked away.
Those are the cocaine and MDMA, which is ecstasy, is the only thing you can't buy in a store.
Right.
You can buy marijuana, and you can buy mushrooms. So I guess they will
or
sell
alcohol.
They'll sell I guess the additional stuff.
Yes, I agree.
But I have to say that I really enjoyed Amsterdam. I thought that Amsterdam was a welcoming city. I liked walking around there. I think Darielle, your wife, pointed out that it was almost like walking on a movie set.
Yeah. For an American, you know, who doesn't get to see this European architecture and stuff like that, also the streets and the alleys are very narrow. So it's like in America, even the smallest back street is, you know, it has to be a certain width. That's right. So there it can be literally, you can fit a bicycle and a motorcycle, and that's it, you know?
Well, stage 2 is done in Europe. We're on stage 3 now here in Germany. Imagine the fact, bodybuilder Roman Fritz is holding the light for us. You're going to meet him tomorrow in our Introduction to Germany seminar. Guys, stay tuned. Amsterdam is history. I'm here in Malmo, Sweden, of all places, and I know you guys love the bathrooms that I always encounter in these small European countries. This might be the smallest bathroom of all time. I feel like a clown getting into a Volkswagen. You got to take a look at this. I went in here and I had to really use the facility because I hadn't used it much. And if you see, to get onto the toilet, you have to kind of like, you have to hold onto the sink a little bit. And you have to, and I say I have a bad leg, so I have to like lower myself very gently onto here, and then I can go.
Almost wash your hands from there.
Now, yeah, if I want to wash my hands, I just lean over. And if you get the camera in there, you can see the sink is right here. Because if you stand up, you physically can't get close enough to the sink because the wall gets in your way. But it's not bodybuilder friendly, that's for sure.